right now because I, I really don't want to go through that whole route, but that's what I would say.
Hey.
Not too full of myself, am I? So I don't know. We're supposed to promote ourselves on here, and I do it on a blush. So like, I adore you people. I wish you were all coming over for apple pie tonight.
Okay. All right. Thanks very much. Let's see here. We have.
And I will say it took me over an hour, but we're now streaming on YouTube on the Mr. Sci-Fi channel.
How do I get on that?
So
Adam's going to help me get onto that so we can get some questions.
Right. You can just go to YouTube, go to your YouTube and watch. But we're streaming through this. If you watch it, then you'll see
there is a natural way to regrow.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
So let's have our next person, and then Adam and I can chat amongst ourselves.
Yeah.
And figure this out. Mark Rogosevich is next.
Yay.
Yo, Mark, I love the shirt.
Oh, well, if you knew what it meant, you might not love it so much. It's from a short film that I co-directed called Gourmet, and it's a cannibal movie that won Best Short Film at the International Horror and Sci-Fi Film Festival. And as the guy's cooking up his meat, he wears a apron that says, "I am a people person." So it's kind of hinting towards that. I don't know if he's listening. Anyway, so my name's Mark. For the people who don't know me, I am an editor. Been pretty busy. I got a nightmare client who's kind of working me really hard, but it pays, and that's all that matters right now. So moving forward with that, I got another project coming up next month, which should be a lot easier. Putting my short film out into the festival still. I don't know if Earl's still here or not. I see his name up there, but he did the sound and music on it. And I got my website, Underexposed Cinematic Treasures, which I'm working on as hard as I can. It's not working as fast as I'd like it to because I'm kind of working it alone, but at least it is up, it's running, it's getting fans, it's getting clicks. And it's all about movies that I recommend that I feel are underseen, unseen, misunderstood, or deserve to be revisited. I got some interesting news this week regarding it. Well, not really interesting news, but interesting happenings, because last recommendation I put up was for a Stephen King adaptation called Battleground, which was adapted for television by Brian Henson. And I had done work with Kevin Clash for a little bit. And there's this big Frank Oz interview out there right now where Frank Oz basically says he'd love to work with the Muppets again, but Disney won't let him. And he talks about how the Muppets have become soulless, which I 100% agree with. And I had a conversation with Kevin Clash about that about 6 months ago. And so he reached out to me pointing to the article, in which case I then reached out to him and said, check out my website. My last recommendation was directed by a buddy of yours, Brian Henson, in which case he then asked me for the link and said he would make sure that, Brian Henson saw it.
And tell people who Kevin Clash is.
Kevin Clash is Elmo, for people who don't know. He's one of the most famous voices in the world, although people know Elmo, so I guess they wouldn't know Kevin Clash. And I'm the biggest Jim Henson fan in the world. So when he came to work with me for a couple months, it was like a huge thrill. I had to warn him before he came into my office because I had all sorts of Muppet memorabilia all over the place. And I wanted to make it clear that it was there from the start, not because I knew he was coming. But he still works a lot with Brian Henson. So the fact that I just did a recommendation on a Brian Henson project, which is one of the best Stephen King adaptations on the planet ever produced. And I put that in my review, not just saying that the fact that he's going to get this recommendation, this review over to Brian Henson is a big thrill for me. So Dave Edison knows how.
That's really something. No, I'm a big Muppets fan and Jim Henson and Frank Oz and all that. And I go way back with all that. And that's very exciting.
Yeah. I hope he, and I mean, I don't know, maybe he'll look at it and be like, oh, another one, but I hope he reads it, because it's not about something that most people probably talk to him about. Battlegrounds is something that is very unknown. It was an episode of a anthology series called Nightmares and Dreamscapes. And whenever I mention it to people, they're like, what's that? Oh my God, it's one of the best adaptations of a Stephen King story ever. And so yes, that's kind of exciting for me. I'm working on my next recommendation right now, which was something that I decided to do. Me and David Bartlett actually talked about it when you were in my office that time. It's a movie called Fearless. And so I'm finally writing up a recommendation for that. Because it's awesome. It's a really, really great Peter Weir movie. So that'll be coming out hopefully in the next couple of days.
Now, I have something about Fearless. Don't watch the DVD because it's full screen. They never made a correct aspect ratio format DVD, but they did with the Blu-ray.
Right.
So the Fearless Blu-ray is definitely the way to go with that, and it's it's an excellent film that I think is maybe underrated. People don't know about it as much.
It's also streaming in its proper aspect ratio too. And after I put my recommendation up, I will be putting a link to the Amazon link, which is in its proper ratio. Because I noticed that for the longest time too, the two movies, Frantic and Fearless, were the two movies they never put on DVD in their proper ratio. Then when they hit Blu-ray, we got to see them the way they were supposed to. And Fearless especially it's shot by Alan Davio, who was one of the best DPs in the business, and it's a really good looking film.
I have an Alan Davio story. I was in just leaving the gym, and next to it is Alan Gordon Enterprises at the time, and they used to have all sorts of seminars, free seminars. They draw people into the store or whatever. And I stopped in to say hi to a friend. He said, "You going to stay for the seminar?" I said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Alan Davio is giving a seminar on E.T." I said, "Are you kidding?" I sit down with maybe 20 cinematographers, and Alan did Empire of the Sun, which is one of the best shot films in the U.S. ever, probably. And he did E.T. He did all these films for Color Purple. So I sit down, and like 20 people, Alan Davio is there with a giant screen that filled the whole wall behind him, and he sat there and he played every scene from E.T. and paused and described to us in detail how he lit every scene in E.T. And it was the most amazing and exciting seminar I've ever seen. Well, one of them, certainly. So I'm a big Alan Davio fan to begin with, but that was a real amazing experience for me personally. So
yeah,
anyway.
One of these days I'll probably do Empire of the Sun, because I think it's one of the most misunderstood Spielberg movies. But one of the things that's so great about that movie is the way he shot it. I mean, you could literally turn off the dialogue and just watch that film. It's so beautiful. But I agree with David. If you're going to watch Fearless, first of all, read my recommendation and keep an eye out for it.
He died of, did he die of COVID this year? Was it last year?
He died before that. He died before the COVID. He was sick for a long time, an invalid. And he was going to shoot a film for me when I was producing a film with this crazy lunatic Polish director I won't go into, but I actually talked to him on the phone and he was up for it. It was a Polish expatriate film, and he was going to do this whole concept of colors and things. I was like, wow, how exciting would that be, you know? But yeah, he was one of the greats.
He worked with Spielberg a lot for a while, and then the very first movie I believe he did without Spielberg, because Spielberg brought in Janusz Kaminski to do Schindler's List, was Fearless. They came out the same year, and Fearless pretty much got buried because everybody was paying attention to, Schindler's List and Forrest Gump and all these other movies. And I can't argue that Fearless is better than Schindler's List, but it's definitely better than some of the other movies that were getting more recognition that year.
Yeah, and he also did The Majestic, which is another film that not everyone has seen, but that is an incredibly beautifully shot film too.
That's another misunderstood film, though, because everybody expected one thing because it was Jim Carrey. And Frank Darabont had just come off of a bunch of Stephen King stuff. And it's actually a movie worth checking out.
Yeah, he also did Congo and Harry and the Hendersons, too. So you might want to skip those.
We'll definitely skip Congo.
If you can turn the sound off on Congo and just watch it for the lighting, it's pretty amazing.
Ignore the ape effects.
And I was at Sony at the time when I looked in the soundstage. I won the soundstage. The entire soundstage looked like the Congo in the Central Africa completely realistic section of African Congos for that film, and across the street was the ship from Hook, the pirate ship from Hook, in water and everything in the soundstage. I saw them back to back to each other, just walking by during my lunch. So that was incredible thing.
That had to have been interesting because they're two of the fakest looking sets ever built.
Yeah.
If you watch those movies, that's my problem with Hook is how fake it all looks. But Congo is the same thing.
The Hook was a real pirate ship. The whole thing built inside a soundstage. So anyway,
maybe I don't know what it is, but when I watch Hook, when he's in Neverland, it just looks so fake. The production design. So
fair enough.
But
all right, anything else there? What's up?
No, not much. Just one more thing. So because I do a website called Underexposed Cinematic Treasures, which everybody should check out. I have a fan recommendation page, and I ask people if they're interested. You just email info at Underexposed Cinematic Treasures.com, and I'm asking for like 1 to 4 4-sentence reviews of any movie that you think might be maybe deserves a bigger audience that you can't believe more people haven't seen. And if you go to the website, you'll see what I'm looking for, just something pure and simple. So it's not just my recommendations that are getting out there, but other people have the option to say, hey, I like this movie, you should check out this movie, and people can get another side of it, because there's plenty of movies out there I don't like that other people really love. And so why not get those recommendations out there?
Mark, could you put that in the chat or say it again, please?
I'm going to put it
website.
In the chat. I'll put it in the chat as soon as I hit the mute button, because David is done with me.
Great, thank you.
But I appreciate it. Thank you.
Very cool. Now, normally when we do this, Mark and Elaine are here. They do Mr. Sci-Fi questions, and Mark is Mr. Sci-Fi. He's like the most knowledgeable guy. Kind of scares me sometimes. So when Mark and Elaine aren't doing it, and I do Mr. Hollywood, because I have a lot of knowledge about Hollywood. And because I love Hollywood, and I love old Hollywood, I love the physical area of Hollywood and movies and everything else. And it's not just that. I love the idea of European films and Indian films. I've seen everything. Everything about those films that I love to talk about if you're interested. So, Adam, do we have any Mr. Hollywood questions or any Mr. Sci-Fi questions I can take a crack at?
We do. We have a Mr. Hollywood question
All right.
from Scott Gamble. And
for the dice.
Scott Gamble asks, what's currently happening at the Space Command Studios?
Well, funny you should ask. I'm there right now. We have many sets have been built. We just did a gargantuan project, a Herculean project, frankly, of moving 18 alien spaceship walls from one studio to the other studio, which we had to clear out space first to make that happen. That had to be going to some other part of the studio, which was full of some other stuff that had to be moved. And it was epic. That's all finished now. We have an entire studio just for filming, an entire studio just for storing sets. So as we mentioned before, Thane gave us a bunch of wood, and we've been using it as in the studios they call it a mill. The mill is the shop where they actually create wood for the projects that the carpenters use to build with. So we've made it into a mill. We have saws, we have wood, we have sawdust. It's just as much fun as you could ever want. If you want to come and help volunteer, that would be awesome. Anybody can volunteer. I can also have a couple of paid positions here and there if you don't mind working for, pretty cheap. And we hang out, and we have wonderful Norm's lunches, and we have wonderful Starbucks, and we make all kinds of wood and sets and all sorts of things. I'm having that happening right now. So I spun off a little sideways in that, but the Space Command shooting is coming up. We have 5 different days of shooting for what are called the framing stories. Framing stories are those scenes you sometimes see at the beginning and the ending of an episode. They're like bookends, but they're not literally part of the main part of that episode. We have framing stories coming up. We're going to shoot those in the studio. And then we have a much larger 50-page segment that is taking place in what Elaine has nicknamed the Haunted House, which is an alien spaceship interior where they come in and they see a bunch of humans who have been frozen in time in eggs, and they have to break them out and rescue them. The Prophet is part of that. The Prophet is part of Thane Allison's role, that he played this same sect of religion, and that's going to be happening in the spring. So that's what's up with Space Command. All right, so next up we have Guylinda Bruton, love the name, a recent convert to the table on the world of Mr. Sci-Fi.
Hey, David, thank you for the lovely introduction. That's awesome. I just got a grocery delivery, so I am mobile at the moment. Want to make sure I put everything away to not leave my roommates any weird surprises later.
Now, do you want to do your thing there? I can do someone else first.
No, I'm good. I'm heading back upstairs right now. I love the introduction. Yeah, I feel like I'm the Mr. Sci-Fi who got a subscription upgrade. And I set myself a tentative goal for working on my project. It's like once I assemble the pieces for my set, I'm giving myself 90 days to get something filmed.
Nice.
But so it's like a stretch goal I want to turn into a hard goal fit as quickly as possible. And I recently watched a film. I really enjoyed it. The writing was good. The effects were nice. It was very visually stunning. It was called The Wandering Earth. And I liked everything about it, except I thought the concept was silly.
Wandering Earth, that's a good one.
I mean, I really enjoyed it. But like I say, there's something conceptually that went, that's just asking for trouble. Y'all know, don't do it this way. Build us a Dyson sphere and let's go that way. So I don't feel as silly about my concept, because as long as I work the stories right, tell my story well, then having a silly concept is not going to be a big deal. Anyway, sorry, now I'm out of breath. But I don't have anything new going on. Nothing terribly exciting here.
Okay, do you need anything?
Not at the moment. No, I don't. I'm just happy to be here. Now I want to mention, Scott, your project. I'm in love with both of your projects. That is beautiful. We have so much cool technology that can be done so much with, and can be used to help people in so many different ways. And not just for entertainment. It's great that you're playing it too, for actors, for blocking and stuff. That's amazing. But to bring in other, people with disabilities and get them out of those prisons of their minds, it's awesome. But when you get ready to start those GoFundMes and Kickstarters, let me know. And I did want to mention, I got very excited about Judy, because I thought, I know this name, I know that voice. Voiced a character in one of the greatest video games I've ever played called Heavy Rain, which I just wanted to make that shout out. It's a really, really awesome game, and the characters are really amazing, and the talent there was really cool.
Awesome. All right, great. Thanks very much. Do we have another Mr. Hollywood question, Adam?
We do have another Mr. Hollywood question from Gregory Krug. He asks, on the movie Speed, did you have any interaction with Keanu Reeves? And if so, is he as nice as everyone says?
I didn't talk to him directly on the film, but I've never heard one bad thing about Keanu Reeves. Not even one. I saw him driving in a Ferrari in Beverly Hills once. That was as close as I got to talking to him. But I was in acting class as a director for 19 years with his cousin, Nenea Reeves. And they're very nice people. She's just a dream. I don't know. I've never heard one thing that somebody said, oh yeah, I don't know. Never. As there's two that I've never heard a problem with ever. And all the actors I've worked with, Morgan Freeman's the other one. Never heard one thing about Morgan Freeman. He's a super nice person. Him I did meet. But yeah, so that's my Keanu Reeves story. But I was back in my hometown in Oregon, Beaverton, at my old high school, and this woman came up with this little girl who's like 10 or 12, and she could barely speak to me. And the woman said, well, she knows that you worked on Speed and that you worked with Keanu Reeves. And I'd say, really? Yeah. And she's like, is that true? And I was like, I mean, she was ready to cry, right? I said, yes, it is. And after that was all she could handle. She couldn't even discuss it anymore. To meet someone that actually got that close to him was too much. I thought that was really adorable. So we forget the effect that movies we work on have in the rest of the world. This is still Hollywood, meaning the concept of Hollywood. We're still making movies that people go see and they love and they admire, and they see talk show guest hosts, and these things. I'm watching Graham Norton all the time. I love Graham Norton. And you see these actors in the talk shows, and the audiences are so excited that these movie people are there and making films, and that's us. So, this could be a worse thing, Anyway.
David?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I work part-time as a tour guide, a certified tour guide. And it's really fun to have a group of 55 people from Nebraska or someplace exotic like that, and drive by a grip truck and a couple of trailers and realize that they're shooting something, and people just go absolutely nuts. And we're so used to it. In fact, I was on a set not too long ago where motorcycles ran through the intersection, blowing their loud motorcycles to disrupt the shoot. And you contrast with that with the ordinary people who come to LA for a variety of reasons on vacation, whatever, and to see the excitement when they see the shoot going on. It just reminds you we're part of a world of magic.
Yeah, it's true. It sounds, cliched, it sounds old-fashioned, it sounds romantic, but it's true. Everybody loves Hollywood. They just criticize it and they love to adore it at the same time. I just glanced another one here about Tom Hanks, another person I've never heard the slightest bad thing about. I've never met him, but he's just a charmer. And you see him on these talk shows, again with the talk shows, he's as polite and genuine as you can imagine. He is, our today's movie star. George Clooney is today's movie star, Tom Hanks, and these guys, Harrison Ford, these guys are real old-fashioned movie stars, And there's a lot of women movie stars too. And I'm a big Nicole Kidman fan right now. I've never heard anything bad about her either. She's just super talented for me. You guys watching this new thing she's in, this thing about this retreat that they have? Let's check it out. Yeah, there's all kinds of good people in it too. It's a lot of fun. Anyway, I'm gonna go off on too many tangents. Where are we at here?
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Or am I out of line? Sorry, there's a mosquito. So I've been made artist in residence in Namibia, in the desert, the Namib Desert in Southern Africa. And we're going to be there for 10 months. So I'm still in early days with all of this, and I'm not sure what to do. Wow. So I was just wondering, how can my husband and I are writing a Knocked Up meets Romance in the Stone kind of movie. So kind of crude and kind of funny. It's about plant piracy, which is a new hot big thing going on in Africa. People are stealing cycads and different plants. And so we've got a first draft of a script, but what now? What now?
You want to look for someone that has some producing background to answer that question for you. You have a script you love, and you're going to team up with someone that has common ground with you with your subject matter. That's usually where it comes from. And they absolutely love that project, and they want to take it under their wing and shop it around and see what they can figure out. Unless you want to become a producer yourself, which you can do, it's a bit more of a runway.
I don't feel qualified.
So that's what I recommend. See if you can find a producer. Go to Women in Film. That's a good place to start.
I'm a member.
Good. Yeah. Film Independent's another one. And start going to these Zoom meetings that they have, if they have them in person. Join as many groups as you can, and get it out there to people that you're a woman and you're from South Africa, so that gives you 2 tick boxes. So that's a step in the right direction. I just found out the Motion Picture Academy isn't letting any more old white guys to be members.
So which academy?
The Motion Picture Academy, the Oscars.
Oh, Motion Picture Academy. Yeah.
Back a little bit on that, but I haven't given up. Anyway, so you, on the other hand, can get in there and meet these people one-on-one and get them the scripts, and they'll probably read them, and you'll find somebody that likes your project sooner or later. You're just gonna never give up. So
Okay.
that's the recommendation.
So we're going in March. So is that enough time to put together a movie? I mean,
no, but it's enough to get interested in a movie.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm telling all kinds of stories tonight. When it gets to my turn, I promise I won't tell another story. But there's a story about Namibia. So Mad Max, Fury Road, set up to shoot in Australia, and they're all dialed in locations, 150 people. They bring in a city. They have all these cars There's 150 cars with stuntmen and mechanics and power and plumbing, all of it, right? And they get out there, and there was a big rainstorm, and the entire place is covered with flowers.
Oh my goodness.
So it destroyed their entire shooting concept. So they scouted other places in the world.
They went to Namibia.
And they picked Namibia. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to picture the meeting where these producers went to Warner Brothers and sat there with the head of the studio. Said, okay, well, we figured this out. He said, we're going to shoot this in Namibia. And he's like, really? Do they have any services there of any kind whatsoever? No. We can take ships there, and everything else is to be brought in crates and set up. He says, okay, how much is it going to cost? $50 million.
Oh my God.
And some studios head sat there and he said, okay.
Okay.
Now that's what
and Charlize Theron was in that, eh? And someone said okay to that. Yeah.
Now you want to know what a producer does? That's what a producer does.
Ah.
So you don't spend
okay.
50 million just to relocate, but you can get someone excited about your movie and help you out. Anyway, all right.
Okay,
Now let's move on. Let's talk to Mr. Sidney Lamb. Hello, Sidney. Can't hear you. You're definitely muted. You're still very muted.
Not anymore.
There we go.
Can I cede my time as if we were in a congressional hearing to Karen McKenna?
That's funny. So you don't want to talk?
Yeah, I will, but I'd like to cede my time to Karen, and I'll speak after she speaks at some point. Is that okay?
That's no problem. I'm trying to find Karen on here right now. I don't see Karen. Is Karen here?
If you look
Karen, there we are.
Yeah, she's
here
right there.
at the very beginning, weren't you? That's right. How are you, Karen?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you, David?
I'm excellent. I'm excellent. I'm having fun here. So I guess we should have you speak next.
Yeah, well, Sidney passed the baton to me, and then I'll pass it back to him. I just wanted to hop on tonight. I haven't been on for a bit, and I happened to see last week, I wasn't on, but I replayed it, and I saw Carol mention that she had sent Sidney a song, that she had sung a song for Sidney over the telephone for the movie that we are working on. Sidney has graciously and kind of foolishly hired me to be the line producer because believe me, he knows so much more about everything. So I'm basically just a student of line producing at this point. But we're having a great time. It's a movie that Sidney's brother Philip Lamb wrote. It's called The Faithful Brethren of Pitt Street. It is about the Yiddish theater in New York in 1959. It's about a young playwright who comes with a brand new play to an old theater that has done nothing but, solid Yiddish theater since the 1920s, and the culture clash and some drama and love interest that goes on from which ensues. Comedy ensues and beautiful drama. And there's some beautiful music in it. There's some beautiful old Yiddish songs in it, one of which I guess Carol sang for the adorable Sidney Lamb. And we are not in production now. We were supposed to be producing last month, but with COVID, we had a very tight set, and we have some older people. We have the wonderful David Lenga on our set, who is in his 90s and is a Holocaust survivor. And Sidney and I both decided that he survived the Holocaust, he should probably survive our movie. So we decided not to continue shooting because we did not want to put anyone at risk. So we are in hiatus now.
So we lost you.
Sounds off.
Karen, you got muted on us by accident. Oops. The fickle figure of fate.
You turned your camera off. Okay, camera's back on.
We'll pass
there we go.
Over to Sidney to do more information about it. But Sidney is directing.
Okay, Karen, we lost the last 30 seconds of your transmission.
Okay. Yes. Am I back?
Yes.
Okay. Sidney is directing this movie. His brother wrote it. And we are in, like I said, we're in pre-production, and I just wanted to jump on and say hi to Carol and say, you know, when we have a website up, which will be very shortly, I will put a link up on the regular email. And I will jump on, you know, every once in a while and let you guys know how it's going. But I will tell you that it is a pretty amazing movie, a pretty beautiful story. Can you go ahead and get it? And I'm really, really, really happy to be working on it. And I hope that, you know, I hope that we will get a lot of support and a lot of views, because it really is beautiful. And now with that, I will pass the baton back to the adorable and fabulous Sydney Lamb.
All right, thank you, Karen. Now, before we do that, we're going to see if there's anything else on Mr. Hollywood.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I have a quick question from Rose Kirby, and which is the age-old Space Command question of when are the DVDs and Blu-rays going to be sent?
Funny you should mention that. The DVDs and Blu-rays for Redemption, which is Space Command Parts 1 and 2, are currently scheduled to be shipped to be arriving in people's homes on Christmas.
Yep.
Now, it gives us 4 months to get that done. It's still quite a bit of work. So there is a schedule and a plan, and even Dave Edison will have to admit there's a possibility. 3 months, what? 3 months left?
We still have to decide the color of the bow to wrap it with.
What if the point is that we have a schedule that can be met, and Mark and I and Elaine, at least, are absolutely dedicated to making that happen. There you go.
Great.
All right, Mr. Sidney Lamb, you're up.
Number one, I want to thank Dave Edison for putting me in touch with Howard Benjamin a couple of weeks ago, who proved to be very helpful to me. Number two, I want to say to Carol Field that you did a great job on Oifen Pripachik, and we've been playing phone tag. I'll be calling you possibly tomorrow or over the weekend to discuss a few things. And finally, what Karen said, she's a student at line producing. You couldn't tell from the way she's been working on the project till now. She's I can't express my appreciation enough for the work that she's put in, and going forward, hopefully to be part of the success of this film. It's as Karen said, it's a lovely film about the decline of the theater. There's a lot of comedy, a lot of nice songs, Man steht belts, Papyrossen. It's lovely, and Karen, like Karen said, she'll be keeping you posted on the table. We have a website coming on hopefully by next week, Karen, I believe you mentioned, and I want to thank everybody on the table for making these appearances possible, and look forward to a safe shoot. Like she said, we have two cast members, one is 74, one is 93, and the 93-year-old, like she says, we don't want to jeopardize his health for the shoot, so we're taking extra precautions, and we hopefully will start shooting before the end of the year. If the Delta variant is not let up, which hopefully it will, we'll be taking extreme precautions to make sure that everyone is safe. It's a low budget film. It's a cast of 8. It's a crew of no more than 10. We're keeping it very small. We're keeping it, well, till now we've been doing safe distancing. We'll be exercising extreme caution in pre-production, in rehearsals, and in the final shoot itself. Thank you all again for letting me speak and for letting Karen speak, and hopefully we'll be doing this again in coming weeks on the table. Thank you all.
Very good. Thank you very much. Hey, Adam, you got any more Mr. Hollywood question?
Yes, we have another Mr. Hollywood question from Kenneth Bryant. He asks, he says hello from Washington, D.C. Wow. And his question is, can anything similar to Stargate SG-1 be produced? It was fantastic.
Of course. I mean, you could come up with something that was similar. You can't be so similar that you get sued, but those kinds of concepts of gateways to other dimensions and whatnot that's an old story. It goes back to the 20s, or probably before the golden age of sci-fi work that they did in short stories and novels at the time, there are examples of that too. Yeah, I mean, just don't make it literally SG, format. You know, don't have them go to Egypt, and don't have them with the James Spader. I know I'm making stuff up, but don't get so close to that show that they might raise some fingers in your direction that you don't want to see. So that's my suggestion there. I think we can come up with a gateway concept show that's not enough like that show that's still interesting. I think there's a lot of opportunity for that. I think it's funny that I just saw that show. It wasn't a gateway show, but it was an Aria, I think it's called. And it's a spaceship that goes to Mars that's the size of a small city. And it looks a lot like a shopping mall and a hospital and a hotel inside. It's like they didn't make any effort to make it look very spaceship-like. They didn't have budget for that, but they had a lot of actors in it playing parts that spanned over, I won't give you spoilers on it, but they spent a lot of time on this ship. And it was an interesting concept. So, is it like another show where people are lost in space? Yeah. I mean, would they get sued because of that? Maybe. But they made it different enough to where it was unique under its own, own steam. So that's what I think about that. So here we go with Medhat Hanbali. Is that right?
Yeah. Hey, hi there. Hi, everybody. I think my microphone.
Medhat Hanbali?
Yeah.
That's quite a name.
I'm in Montreal.
Where does it come from?
It's a Turkish name.
Oh, awesome. I was in Istanbul airport once. I thought it was an incredible experience. The sun was setting over a minaret, and I was like, oh my God, it's perfect.
I'm based in Montreal. How's everybody?
Okay, good. We're all great. What's up?
I'm just here again. It's the second time, so I'm still discovering this concept. It's really interesting listening to everybody's experience and projects. I'm a film composer. I write music for television and films. Worked for the BBC, CBC, and many other networks. And just here learning about what everybody does.
And you're going to be on a podcast this Saturday, right? We're still on. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
More on that later.
Yes.
That's awesome. I'm just putting my email in here. He reminded me of this for the table email. I'm putting it in there now, and I'll talk about that in a minute when it's my turn. But that's great that you're here. I'm glad you're back, and welcome.
Thank you.
Anything that you need?
Sorry?
Is there anything that you need?
I'm just connecting with filmmakers, and I'm expanding pretty much what I do. I work in French. I'd like to do more work in English, so we'll see. I'm interested in features and TV projects, so we'll see how it goes.
There's lots of English people on the table email. I think you'll feel right at home. English speaking.
Yes.
Good. So, Adam, any other Mr. Hollywood?
Yes, we have a question from Mark Lungo. He wants to know, what was it like working with Quentin Tarantino?
Quentin is, if you imagine Quentin and the interviews and the talk shows and the award shows that he's on like that, that's the way he's like. It's the same thing. He's a great guy to work with. He's extremely enthusiastic. He has no filter. So you better be, you can't be shy around him. He'll say and do anything, but he's all about the film. And if you bring an idea to him, he'll check it out. He'll see. I did on Pulp Fiction, I made the sound of Harvey Keitel's car coming into a stop from a distance. So I made it skid and screech and rev and pull up, and I made the car was a Porsche sound that was processed through a filter, and it had a jet turbine in reverse, so it went shh and stop. And then when the car motor shuts off, I put in a camel bellow, which sounds like this. It goes boom. So he thought those were all awesome, and they're all in the film. If you listen closely enough, you can hear them all. So he didn't say, bring me these sounds. I just had some ideas, and he loved it. So my Quentin Tarantino story is, my favorite is at the cast and crew screening of Pulp Fiction. So Lawrence Bender is his partner, and he's got like long hair, and he's got a suit coat with a tie, no tie, and very kind of like, counterculture, almost hippie type, real chill and relaxed and quiet. And he comes down, he says, hello, I'm Lawrence Bender. I'm the producer of Pulp Fiction. And everyone laughed because it's the cast and crew of Pulp Fiction. He says, and the director's here. And by now, Quentin is striding full speed down the aisle. At Warner Brothers, at Disney, it's an 800-seat theater at Disney, right? And he says, yeah, he wants to say a couple things, and he's a little shy, and everyone laughed. He gets down to the front, he says, listen, I want to tell you guys something. We just came back from Cannes, and this film, and the press said, we want to screen this film all over. He said, no one's going to see this film until you see this film, because this is your film, and you made this film. And he opens up a little box with a Palme d'Or in it from Cannes. He says, and this is yours. This is for you. And everyone's screaming and cheering, and they put down the lights, and they ran Pulp Fiction for the first time. And that was like one of the most exciting moments I've ever had in Hollywood history. So that's what it's like to work with Quentin Tarantino. All right, moving right along here. Let me see here. We've had everyone up here. Karen, we've had Karen. Constance. Is Constance with us? And would Constance like to speak? We don't have a picture of her yet.
I could take my turn if you want.
You can take your turn. The lovely and talented Adam Sartain.
Hello.
He looks good in green.
Yes. So I'm Adam Sartain, for those of you who don't know. And I am an actor, a voice actor, and an associate producer on Space Command. So I have had such a busy week. It's been crazy. Well, for those of you who don't know, I was in a car accident a few weeks ago. My car was totaled. I was not, so that was good. Just today, just an hour ago, I finally got a new car. So it took thank you. It took forever. I ended up spending way more than I should have. And now I have a car payment, but at least I have a new car to drive around, and I don't have to worry about rental cars or any of that anymore. Now I just need to worry about switching over insurance and stuff like that. But also, my podcast is doing well. I finally have a buffer because for the longest time, I was scrambling to find a guest for my podcast. For those of you who don't know, I have a podcast called Inside Animation, and you should all listen to it, especially if you're in the industry, because it doesn't just deal with the animation industry. It does just deal with the animation industry, but a lot of the same concepts and things that we talk about apply in the regular entertainment industry as well. But anyway, yeah, I had been, struggling to get guests, and now I have, this week I had 3 guests in a row, including some random person that my mom found online and emailed her out of the blue. I was like, Mom, what are you doing? But she was a freelance 2D rigger and did animation and storyboards and a bunch of other stuff. So my mom reached out to her and she replied. So I got her on the show. And then yesterday I talked to the current voice of Donald Duck. So that was a great episode. And then on Saturday, I'm going to be talking with MedHat. So that's three guests in 1 week. So I'm going to, but new episodes always come out on Monday. So this Monday, look out for my next episode, which will be episode 16 or 17. I think it's 16. No, it's 17. Yeah, 16 is the last one. My latest episode out now is with Julia J, who is a cosplayer. And so that was a fun episode as well. So we talk about how cosplay is essentially the ultimate expression of an animated film of an animated character, because if you do your job right as an animator, as a character designer, you make a character so well beloved that other people want to dress up as that character. You've done a good job. So that was fun. So the podcast And then, yes, thank you, Carol. I am feeling okay. I've been going to the chiropractor, and that has really, really been helping. I just like ran up and down 2 flights of stairs, so I'm doing pretty good actually. And I better be. I need to get in shape because starting at the end of this month, I'm going to be working for the Los Angeles Haunted Hayride as a scare actor. So if you like being scared or want to be scared, check it out this year. And I will scare you, especially if you go on the trick or treat maze. That's what I've been scheduled for. So I think that is finally everything for me for now.
All right. Thank you, Adam.
Yay.
Now, Adam, can you reset the Zoom call on the Mr. Sci-Fi so that it only shows the person talking?
Yes.
Okay, good. That's a request someone had.
I can do that.
Let's do another Mr. Hollywood question. I'm stalling now because Constance is trying to find her way back in here with her picture or a video, which she was having trouble with in a minute. So is there another Mr. Hollywood question?
Let's see. We got that one. I thought I saw something. Oh, no, we had that one. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, here we go. Gregory Krug has a question. When working on a film, do you or any of your peers get angered by scenes that are deleted before the final cut? Or is that just generally recognized as part of the process?
No, it's part of the process. Now, you can have personal situations where you wish your scene was in the movie or the cut and the way it was being done was in the movie. Hi, Constance, or anything like that. And there's a famous story of the key grip of Close Encounters, and they had spent like 3 or 4 nights in this mosquito-infested swamp. It was absolute hell filming, and they cut the whole sequence. And he said that was the only time he ever lost it about a scene that was cut. They had so much trouble getting that scene shot. But no, I mean, I've had work. I haven't had acting work on the cutting room floor because I get asked. The acting I've done has been by people inviting me to be involved in the film, and they write parts for me. They have me improvise, and I'll get like the bulk of what I do ends up being the film. But that's not because I'm necessarily that special. It's just I've ended up in those projects that don't have scenes cut on the floor. There are famous stories, a couple I can think of, where Academy Award level performances by actresses were cut at the last minute, and they weren't told until they went to the screening and found out their scene was not in the film. But that's happened more than once. So that's not cool. I can understand how if you were that person, you'd be pretty unhappy, especially being told by showing up to a premiere. But I don't think so. I think that most people will, it's part of the process. You can't predetermine the success of a movie sitting at home with blank pages or a screen in front of you and imagine everything's gonna be perfect. You're gonna shoot everything right, and nobody will change anything in it, and it'll get shot and cut in the movie and released, and everyone will love it, and you'll make lots of money. And you have lots of fans. Well, it just doesn't work that way. I mean, sometimes it works to a degree that way, but that's part of show business, Things get cut all the time. So I'm saying no. So let's have our next person here. We have the lovely and talented Constance. You're up. You have a
Hello, how are you? I haven't been here for a while, but it's nice to see everyone. I'm still looking to get production coordinating and production work. I've mostly been working other outside jobs, and I'm working on doing my own voiceover little studio I'm trying to put together to get more voiceover work. That's mostly, I have worked on Space Command before. It's been a minute since I worked on Space Command, but I look forward to doing that again in the future. That's about it. I'm just trying to get back into it. And I'm open to help on different productions too, if anybody needs any help.
Okay, that's great. Now, the table email is a way
What'd you say?
The table email is a way to reach out to people.
What is my what?
Where is my what? The table email
Oh, my email is Constance Extraordinaire Mason. Sorry. You can call me Sunny. I would laugh through the whole thing. But yeah, Constance Extraordinaire Mason. So if you need help on a production, I have experience doing everything from PA all the way up to first AD. So if you ever need any help, just
that's great.
Send me a
Now,
line.
for those of you out there that wonder what a producer does, here's another example. I did not get my question answered. Are you on the table email?
Yes, I said Constance Extraordinaire Mason.
let me.
Adam, don't help me. Constance. I know Constance. We're friends. You go to the table email and you say, hey, wonder who's out there that wants to work with me. I'd like to work with them. And then you network with the table.
Oh, you want me to send the email out to everyone? Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
I need to do that.
website.
Okay.
There's a website.
I'll send an email about it. Yes, I'll send an email blast. Fine.
That's how you get something done in a movie.
Okay, fine. I just usually write to people individually, but I haven't done the blast thing yet. So I'll do that.
Yeah, and you can also go and you can research people by doing the, it's the database, and you can find people and reach out to them directly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I haven't utilized it to its full potential yet. Yes, you're right.
All right, there you go. Now's your chance. So,
okay, thank you.
All right, so do you need anything else or are we good?
No, I'm good. I'm just listening.
Okay.
I'm trying to stay awake. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Now, the other Mr. Hollywood questions, Adam.
Yes, we have a question from Scott Baker.
Okay.
Which is, and
now, correct me if I'm wrong, Adam.
Yes.
Isn't Scott Baker on the table right now?
Yes, he is.
All right, good. Go for it. What's the question?
Yeah. So his question is, when working on a film with lots of paid, fed extras, how much better is the food for SAG performers versus the extras? Is it worth getting the SAG card?
Now, the catering is supposed to be the same for everyone. Now,
Yes.
I'm talking about the movie stars that have trailers, blah, blah, blah. I'm not talking about that. Everyone gets the same meals. If you work on a show like Desperate Housewives, which was the top show at the time, they had 5 standing sound stages of standing sets. They had catering set up at every sound stage, and craft services that were like going to like a carnival with they would make special yogurts with special flavors, Starbucks, the whole thing. And those lunches were unbelievable. There was prime rib, there was special scampi, there was a whole Mexican food area with burritos and whatnot. There was a whole, you could get like, waffles for lunch. I mean, it was unbelievable. And I can't believe that there would be another food special area for anybody else at that show. So I'm saying no, that you pretty much get one catering service that comes and does everyone, including the mouths. What are they called? The props that eat.
And the props that eat.
The background people, right? Yeah. So yeah, I don't think there's different food.
Having done background myself, I can vouch for that. There's really the only distinction between SAG and non-union background is the paycheck, and
and the fringes.
Yeah, and the fringes, yeah. But like
fringes are the hours that go towards insurance,
right? And especially when you get into overtime and stuff like that, that's where the difference lies. But as far as food goes, it's when I worked on For All Mankind at Sony, even the crafty was the same for everyone. So
sure,
yeah.
Okay.
Now, I will say there was
yeah.
Sorry, there was one difference for the lunch, and that was background versus cast and crew. Background ate last. You had to wait in the back of the line. That's all. Okay. But that's background, versus cast and crew rather than.
Yeah, but they got a little bit more flexibility in their schedule.
Right.
Okay, good. Any more? Oh, was that the Mr. Hollywood question?
Yes, that was the Mr. Hollywood question.
Okay, then I guess it's time for me, wonderful me. Now, I've been telling lots of stories, and that's cool. But I have myself, I am making films since I was 10. I worked in high school on films and theater. I I'm looking at the other screen here. It's got a big delay on this other screen here. Adam looks like he's talking. It's freaking me out. All right, so I moved to LA in 1980 to start doing classes with the late great Gary Shusett at the Sherwood Oaks Experimental College. And I got a lot of great classes that I took there from big people like Robert Wise and oh my God, I mean, there was so many, the acting classes I took once a week, seminars from Sally Field, Brad Davis from Midnight Express, Jacqueline Bissett, and we saw a play starring George C. Scott, and he talked to us afterwards. I mean, these classes were incredible. So when I say I never went to film school, that's not quite true. And then I worked in New World Pictures doing films with production designer Jim Cameron and his fiance at the time, Gail Ann Hurd, and they were awesome to work with. And Jim is very, intense, but a good person, nice person. I never had a problem with him. And then I started working on sound editing jobs, which led directly to my first paid job, which was on a miniseries called Space, that was executive produced by Dick Berg, and I got an Emmy nomination. So that was pretty cool. First paid job, not bad. So then I worked more on that. I got into a big sound editing company. That's where I worked on Pulp Fiction and Speed and Total Recall and Predator 2 and Hoffa and all kinds of great movies. And then I started doing my own films, and with friends, now I have 65 film festival awards. I have two films at the Burbank Film Festival, and I was a judge there this year. So I'm all over the Burbank Film Festival. I've judged for 9 years at the Houston Film Festival. I was a teacher at the Screenwriting Expo for 5 years. My specialty was the 3-act structure. So you guys ever have any questions about the 3-act structure, I'm all over that. Mark and I and Elaine and I clash about that a little bit, but I really believe in it. And I think if you use it properly and use your imagination on top of it, you can't lose. So then I started working on Space Command. I was a table member 26 years now, and I worked on Space Command full-time now for 2 years, and I'm part-time off and on for 5 years. I did the line producing on the shoot where I met Nathaniel and others. That was almost 6 years ago now. And that's going to be finished very soon. And then, so I also started producing films. And this year I got an Emmy nomination for a feature film I produced. I was very happy about that. And it looks like they're going to be fine with me joining the Television Academy as a member of the Emmy crew, which I'm really looking forward to. And I'm one credit away from joining the Producers Guild, it looks like. I can have a chat about that with William Garcia, who's been helping me. And they're tough customer. People think it's a piece of cake to join the PGA, and it's not. And they really want to make sure that you are a producer and you know what you're doing. So when that happens, I'll be very honored. But I'm right around the corner from that too. So that's kind of where I'm at, I guess. I have also the Space Command speech I give is the volunteers. If you want to volunteer with Space Command, if you want to pay a job with Space Command, I'm the person to talk to. I handle all that stuff. And we need both right now. So if you're interested, go for it. My email is listed in the chat. And then the other thing I talk about is the table email. If you're new and you want to join the table email, you can give me an email, shoot me an email, and I'll make it happen for you. You need to have your first name and last name in the email. Full names, not like Moogie Pie 27. That's not going to fly. So you can have numbers, but you have to have your full name, and you can't have Yahoo. So if you guys send me that and you need help with that, if there's any problems with it that you're having with the table email, I can help you with that too. So just give me a call and an email, and I'll help you out with that too. So if there are no other people I missed, and it looks like I got everyone here, is there one last Mr. Hollywood question that's burning, Adam, or are we good? We got started late on the Mr. Hollywood question, so I want to make sure that, are we good?
I mean, there's a general question for everyone that people are talking about, which is what everyone's opinion on Ready Player One is, and if you saw all the Easter eggs.
Oh, I missed that one, I'm afraid, so I can't comment on that.
I have not seen it either.
Yeah, well, don't think we're going to go into that then, are we? So I guess that's it. It's great seeing some of you folks that haven't been on in a while. That's been lots of fun. Constance, William Garcia, brand new people recently added, Scott Baker, It's great. It's fun to see all you guys coming. And we are going back to the live table someday soon. We have a place to do it, Patty's in Toluca Lake. And we might continue some of this Zooming at the time too, because the Mr. Sci-Fi part of this is fun too. And that's it. So,
Thank you, David.
you're welcome.
Good work.
Pleasure.
We
Thanks.
did it.
It's
See
great.
you guys later then.
Great.
Good job, David. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Good night. Bye.
Good luck.
Take care.
Okay, take care.
Bye, friends.
Be careful.
Bye.
Good night.